We're going live. We're going live. We're going live. Cocaine. No.
I think we are live.
Greet. Greet. Yeah. No. I know. Push the button. Yes. I know how to push buttons. Yay! All right. Welcome to the Yelling at Park
Yelling
Cars.
at park cars!
Yeah. Yeah. Um. Although these days, when people back in the day when people yelled at inanimate objects,
Yeah!
you would think, you would automatically think, well, they're crazy. But now,
Yeah!
but now, with since everybody has like
Modern technology.
a Bluetooth freaking earpiece, for their phone or whatnot, you're like, okay, are they crazy or are they just talking to somebody on the phone? But yeah. So anyway, welcome, one and all. Today is Memorial Day, and
Hail.
so we're gonna talk about that today,
Hail to the
and
fallen. Yes,
you
sir.
know,
Yeah.
just we might even throw in some some of our favorite war movies and whatnot, but yeah, it's just gonna be a um, general chatting, about what we think about the holiday, and uh, yeah, we'll just see how it goes. Um,
I mean,
so um, so joining me today is as per usual, most of the time, Mr. Freeze Peach Gaming.
what's
Um,
up, everybody?
Hail.
This is another year, another somber Memorial Day. Wonderful day, very important holiday, in my opinion, remembering all of the fallen soldiers who sacrificed everything to ensure our freedoms and our creature comforts. And I think social media has kind of like it's a very small portion of the population, but there's a lot of people out there like, oh, happy Memorial Day. It's not supposed to be a happy day, but it's good to observe. It's all about remembrance.
right. Well, which the happy or whatever part, I you know I don't to me it's kind of like, uh when you go to a funeral, they don't necessarily, want you to be uh sad and crying. They want you to, remember the person, with fondness, and remember the good times and all. And
Aye,
that's
sire.
kind of how I try and do things. But
Yes, sir.
without further ado, though, I do believe this is his first time on the show, Mr. Immortal Coil. We've known each other for a while now.
I think so, sir. Shellback is one of about three people that I've met from offline and associated with. We went to a Comic Con together, and we went down to meet the Rookie Critic, who is a dear good sir of ours. Um, yeah, and it's one of those things like when you meet a veteran, don't shake his hand and say Happy Memorial Day. You know, um, that is for Veterans Day, right? So you celebrate the veterans for what they did and what's going on, and you celebrate the falling on a day like today.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I don't, that's happened to me, several times before. Um, and I don't, in a way, I hate to discourage people, from being appreciative of
Sure.
of my service, and
Sure. But it's like
veterans.
an educational announcement.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, well, it's like, today's not my day. That's Veterans
It's
Day.
for
I'm like,
them.
if
Yeah.
you want to thank a veteran on Memorial Day, uh, go visit your local cemetery, and look for a headstone that lets you know that person was in the military. Uh,
Yeah.
which there some places, like the town I live in, we actually have a uh, military, what's the word, centric or whatever, um, cemetery. It's a veteran cemetery, so everybody laid to rest there is a you know a service member, or I think they do also allow spouses to be buried there. So, but
Yeah, I imagine it's one of those things like when somebody does give you like the happy Memorial Day, it's like you just kind of have to accept it graciously. Like it puts you don't want to be that guy who's like, well, actually, I have another day coming up in a couple of months. But yeah, I definitely agree that it's a very important day, and it does, we do still have to celebrate it though, because I feel like, I don't know. This is my personal feeling about Memorial Day. Is it's still a good day to do like the standard holiday things, like get together with family, have a barbecue, throw up the American flag, say the Pledge of Allegiance, even something like that. Because we should be celebrating what others gave everything for.
True. Um, we also have to think about World War II, World War One, the Civil War, all those people, because they are done and gone, and that's why we have a grass to mow and all that kind of stuff. All right.
And I mean, people have expanded it to remembering their loved ones who have gone, regardless of whether they were in the military or not. Which, I mean, that's fine. I'm
Sure.
not gonna tell you can't, but that that's not the true actual purpose for the holiday. But
Sure. What
you know,
is? Tell
uh,
us.
hmm? Oh
Oh,
no,
tell
it's just
us.
Memorial Day um, came about for military members who had fallen in battle. Um,
Correct.
but it's, if you want to just treat today like another day off from work, that's, I mean, in a way, that's what me and every other uh, veteran, whether they be alive or dead, that's part of what we, why we served and fought for and all that stuff. So yeah, but I don't know. I did. Do either one of you guys have anyone, a family member or whatever, that was in the military and is no longer with us? Or
Yes, sir. I have so many uncles and great uncles that died on the beaches of Normandy. So that's cool. Um, I'm not asking you guys to think about them or remember them, but they were there. How about you, Peach?
Personally, none of my I have a lot of military family members, but they've all, for the rest of our sakes, the rest of the family, they were all pretty lucky and have made it through any combat or any wars that they were in. I have some that are no longer with us. My grandfathers, one served in Korea, another in Vietnam. My stepdad is still around though. He served, but this isn't his day. Got a lot of other, just a lot of military in the family, but they all got pretty lucky for especially for their family's sake.
Cool. Right on, man.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Honestly, I mean, I'd rather I'd rather hear about that than well, dad or granddad or whatever,
Yeah, there's a sadder story on the other
he
side.
came home in
So
the box,
yeah,
and it's one of those things of like I can give thanks to all of the men and women who have given their lives in combat
for real.
Because if it weren't for them, my great grandfather wouldn't have lived through World War I, and my grandfather my grandfather would have heck, he would have never gotten around to adopting my mom or anything like that.
Was he European, or did he go over from America, or what's up?
Let's see, my great grandfather was American. He was actually Irish born, but he moved to America at a very young age in the early 1900s. Yeah. Then my grandfather was his son. He served in Korea, so he was American. My grandfather on my father's side was actually Canadian. He was a cadaver pilot during Vietnam. He flew a prop plane with all of the fallen soldiers and brought them back home.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Right on.
That must have been a job.
Yeah, I heard a couple of stories, but I think we can save them for the others another day. They're not the most tasteful of stories. Nothing like horrible, but
oh yeah.
Well, I'm just saying because we lost quite a few in Vietnam.
Oh yeah.
But which that's one of the things right there that I've yet to do in my life, but hopefully someday before I kick the bucket, I'd like to go to DC and and
see the Vietnam Wall.
See the wall and go to Arlington and see all the other touristy monuments and stuff too. But
that actually reminds me of something. I actually attended a funeral at Arlington. It was a family friend of ours. I knew him as Doc. He was a medical doctor, but he served in World War II.
What happened there?
Oh, with him, yeah, he was just old. He grew old and died, but he served in World War II. He was actually part of the black regiments because we were still segregated then. Yep.
No shit, man. So, did they make any special arrangements, or what happened?
I was like 8 at the time. I just remember seeing the white headstones laid out, in perfect, that perfect grid format.
Cool.
Yeah, I was very young at the time. I liked him. He was a cool guy, but he was kind of family friend.
They're all cool guys.
Oh yeah. Yep. I actually, I remember I did during Black History Month in one of the years in elementary school. I did a project on him because he was one of the first black men to go to Harvard Medical School. Actually, he passed as a white man at the time. He was pretty fair skinned.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Did he get his degree? Did he progress? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he got his degree. Went on, and it was a few years later. He, once everything had cleared up, a lot of the tension after civil rights had cleared up is when he sort of came out and was like, by the way, I'm black.
Yeah, and that's what's funny. So a lot of people want to pretend like the 1960s never happened, or like events like you're talking about never happened. There has been progress in every era.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I met a Tuskegee Airman.
Oh shit!
Oh yeah, yeah.
They
it was-
dived out of planes. Tell
Yep.
the audience about that.
Oh yeah. The Tuskegee Airmen, for those who don't know, they were a all black pilot squadron. I mean, they did bomb missions, they did airdrop missions. The military was still segregated at that time, so you had to have all black, and they needed pilots for the black regiments of all of their black squadrons and platoons. And so they actually had to specifically train black pilots, who typically that was not something that black people would learn to do. So they had to go out and specifically train them in doing it. And when I was maybe 8-9 years old, I was up in New Hampshire at our we have a little yearly spot we go to up on Lake Winnipesaukee, and he was staying in the same building as us. So I got to meet him. I didn't fully understand at the time like what it meant that I was meeting a Tuskegee pilot. Just it was the other old people were like, oh yeah, he's one of the Tuskegee Airmen. But I learned later on, like, oh wow, I actually met like a legitimate historical figure there, and they weren't around for much longer. I remember getting into my early teen years in the early 2000s. The World War II vets just started dying off very quickly, and nowadays I don't think there's any left.
I don't know. There might be a few.
There might be. They'd be old.
A lot of them, if any of them are still around, they're the ones that they caught like the tail end of the war.
Mm-hmm.
But
they could have lied about their age.
Yeah, but speaking of like Tuskegee Airmen, there's a movie by that very title, really good movie, and another one that's probably a little bit more stylized or whatever, but Red Tails. So yeah, there's some good movies on about those guys, and I want to say that it was I can't remember whether it was Red Tails or the Tuskegee Airmen, but there was a scene in the movie where old boy was having mechanical issues, and so he had to land the plane on a public road. And him and his wingman, his wingman came down with him, and so anyway they got out of the plane, and there was a like a ditch digging detail or whatever from the local prison, right? And it was like it's pretty much all black prisoners, but there's a couple of white prison guards or whatever, guarding them, while they're doing their work. And the pilots got out of the plane, and the prisoners just looking like, holy shit.
Do you remember
black,
who starred in it?
Like this is awesome. A couple of black dudes just got out of these freaking fighter planes, and but at the same time, the prison guards, their jaws just dropped like, what the shit?
Who was in the movie, Shellback? Do you remember who starred in it? I
want to say that this one want to say the scene from the one, this scene. I want to say it was from the Tuskegee Airmen,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure Lawrence Fishburne is in
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah. So, wrenches, throw that into the chat, please,
But
or I will do it for you. Keep going. I love this story.
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know that I have that ability. But it's not like hard to find. You can Google that shit.
It's on
Um,
HBO Max. I see
but
it. I'm
yeah,
just trying to see if there's somebody of ball stature ready to do that, or I will do that for them. But
I don't
keep
know. Do
talking,
you
sir.
do you have one?
Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah, I
can.
have a wrench. Yeah, both of
No,
you
yeah,
guys
go ahead.
do.
I know Free Speech does too, but
Mhm.
Yeah, I can pull up like the Google for it or something. I don't know if putting up the
Yeah, it
HBO
looks
Max
like
wouldn't
it's
do it.
on HBO Max now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I mean, no, if you have that ability, go, feel free.
Go
Of
fuck
course,
yourself. All
but
right.
well, no, I like, I don't know. I just since I'm uh limited to using a phone these days, it's not as simple for me to do that stuff. But
Yeah, and that's not your station. That's why you have us. So you keep
um,
doing what you say, and we'll take care of the rest.
but anyway, kind of, I guess that's a decent enough of a segue, uh, where we could like start talking about some of our favorite war movies. Because I don't know, there's not a whole lot. I don't, I don't think there's really a whole lot that we can say, or a whole lot more that we can say about like the actual holiday and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know. What are some of y'all's favorite war movies?
You go ahead, Peach.
Well, I'll mention one I just watched. I won't go into spoilers though, because I know it's fresh. But just on Saturday, I went and saw Top Gun Maverick, which isn't exactly a war film because they leave things kind of vague as far as who the enemy is. But the original Top Gun, also one of my favorite, just military films in general. And then technically, that is during a war. That was Cold War, and that would have been during a military action. But as far as like targeted war films, I'm just going with stuff that I've like either watched recently or recently had some interaction with. I recently down at the MegaCon convention picked up a poster print for The Deer Hunter, which I think is a very underrated film. I mean, people who've seen it love it, but I feel like not a lot of people are familiar with The Deer Hunter. It's a Vietnam era starring Christopher Walken and Robert De Niro. Excellent film. A bit of a hard to watch. It's a very heavy hitter, very intense film at times, and not particularly for the war scenes themselves, but it deals with prisoner of war, people who were taken prisoner by the Viet Cong and Vietnam, and things that were done to them. Excellent movie, Deer Hunter.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. I mean, I definitely know what you're talking about, but I don't recall ever actually watching that movie. So
The title throws people off because like I was talking to my mom about it because I was staying with them during the convention, and she was like, I thought it was just about a couple of like it was actually about hunting deer. It's like, oh no, it's a group of friends, four young men who are their hobby, what they do together is they're deer hunters. I believe living up in your neck of the woods, the Pacific Northwest, and they all four of them enlist and go off to Vietnam, and it's about sort of them dealing with being in the war itself, and then getting captured, and then psychological fallout of being a prisoner.
yeah, dude, and I mean, if it, I mean, if it's anything like like what what we've seen in movies. A dude being a being a POW in Vietnam was some freaking
Some Rambo shit.
some hardcore shit.
Yeah.
All I'll say is it gets intense during that.
Yeah. It's like here, have some bamboo under your fingernails. But yeah, I which oh, who was it? So Stephen Ransom likes Big Red One. That's a good one. I believe I've seen that one before.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, sorry, I hit that one on
Yeah,
accident.
I'm being savage. I'm sorry. If you
But,
guys think that you can stand toe to toe with Shellback, then talk to me. I'll straighten you out.
Yeah. So like the Big Red One, that's like a World War II one. But dude, there's so many good ones from that around the time that one was made. But I don't know, one of the ones that I think of is not technically a movie. It was a miniseries. Actually a couple. The Band of Brothers,
Yeah.
one, and the other one was the Pacific, which, of course, Band of Brothers was about the boys of Easy Company, the from the 101st Airborne,
That was so good. Didn't you love that?
and yeah,
Ah,
it follows them from it follows them basically from basic training clear up until the end of the war. So I mean, you get to see them actually qualifying or making it through paratrooper training, and just what they had to do to get to that point. And then they it shows them being bored off their asses, sitting in England. They're sitting in England just waiting to go over, and twiddling their thumbs, and
right.
then D-Day happens, and unlike unlike the infantry people who had to land on the beach and and get shot at on the beach.
Yeah.
These guys were paratroopers, so
And
they
then what the
actually
fuck
got
happens?
flown.
Yeah.
They actually got flown behind the lines and then parachuted down.
Jesus Christ.
So but yeah, and they it showed them when they were taking part in the Battle of the Bulge,
Yeah.
and towards the end, where they actually end up they end up at the Eagle's Nest, in
Hitler's fucking headquarters.
in Austria, in the
Yeah.
Alps.
Salzburg.
You guys need to fucking watch HBO. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, that's a classic. That's a yearly
God.
watch for me.
Damn, Peach.
That's a yearly watch. I've only watched the Pacific a couple of times, but yeah. Band
And
of
what
Brothers
happened
for-
to you? You changed psychologically. You realize that this is the fucking shit that
Yeah.
our grandfathers went through. You realize that this was the thing that made generations of people mow the lawns and blah 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 and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Instructional, yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
Then we had the
yeah,
Navy.
the Pacific was different in the way that it wasn't focused on like one group. It was like a few groups because it was made up. It was compiled from like two or three dudes who had written books.
Yeah.
Bit more of a character story.
Yeah, it was, but it was it was different in the fact that it did concentrate on some different places, different stories or whatever, but at the same time was still similar, because it was made by the same people that made Band of Brothers.
True.
But
As a Navy guy, how does that make you feel? Like, what did you see that happened to Navy people that affected you?
well, I mean the Pacific was more, it was more like it was about the Marines, but it was cool stuff. It's the
Yeah.
they definitely showed the quote unquote savagery of the Japanese, and their the mindset of the Japanese soldier, because it was all it was like all or nothing, I mean, like definitely like
Like
you know
there's the
I'm
one scene
gonna,
that. Oh, sorry, I was just gonna say, like, onto your point, like there's the one scene that always sticks out to me, and it's when the Japanese run out of ammo and they draw their swords and charge at the Marines.
yeah
That's like that's their tenacity right there.
but like oh, excuse me, hold on.
Yeah. Well, the Japanese are famous for their ability to push past all the limits of human tolerance and just charge. Actually, to take back a Japanese sword from an engagement is a sign of a higher warrior.
Yeah.
True, Peach.
Yeah.
What do you think,
I
sir?
didn't know about that. So it's if you get their sword and you bring it out of battle.
Well, yeah, think about it. If you charge
Mhm.
somebody and you out sword him and you take it and you do what you have to do, what's your statement, sir?
Oh, I mean that definitely would be a sign of a higher warrior, because not only, I mean, these guys they're they're so pumped up and they're so devoted to because it really was a god emperor to them.
Yeah,
during
that's
that
what
time,
they
that
thought.
Hirohito.
They thought that they were
Yeah.
serving the
It was
Lord of the Sun.
Yep, the sun god incarnate.
Yeah.
So they were, it was, almost a theological tenacity that these guys had to them. And I mean, they're charging through bullets because, it was just when they ran out of ammo. It didn't matter if the enemy had run out of ammo. So then you're having to go toe to toe with a guy who has, what may even be like his ancestral family sword that's been passed down. And
which is what they were told.
You're doing it with a bayonet on the end of your rifle.
Yeah. So imagine island hopping. Like it's a beach and coconut trees, like 20,000 of them. How would you plan your offensive? Excuse me, offensive, and how would you execute that? And who's in charge? And it's a giant operation,
And it's thousands of tiny little islands, and you don't know where the strategic bases are. And the Japanese were very good with their being able to break down or just abandon a camp and just set up another one on another island. So if they thought it wasn't tactically advantageous for them, they would just leave the island, let the Marines take it with minimal force, and then dig in even deeper at a more difficult target.
Correct. And then imagine 1940s tech.
Yep.
Could you imagine, like, you have to walk up and like shovel sand and dig in your mortar and like pow, and that's like your only pow.
Yep.
And then you have other people like shooting at you from other angles. I mean, our great grandfathers went through horseshit to make sure that our current freedoms are intact. So I don't know what's going on with Shellback, but we can talk about this for a few minutes. What's your thoughts, sir?
Oh yeah, I mean I think it's one of the greatest sacrifices that anyone could ever make is what must be the sheer horror and the absolute like what the closest we could imagine to hell on earth going into a battle and doing this knowing that you might not come back, and you're doing it not just to protect specific people but also to protect the idea, the meaning, and the overall general feeling of freedom and safety that people have back home. You are going off to do this, and that's
the thing. Like, the war never touched our soil. I remember a strong quote that said, "If you tried to invade the American mainlands, there would be a rifle in every inch of grass."
Yep, and behind every blade of grass.
I fully believe that. There is no way that anybody could invade East Coast or West Coast without getting a blast back in their face.
It would be even harder today than back in the 1940s, because people didn't have a lot of rifles back then. But today, I mean, there's 200 million firearms in America alone.
That's because we have a Second Amendment, Peach.
Yep.
And you know that.
Oh, I do know it. I exercise my Second Amendment regularly. I am proud to live. I am proud that Georgia, the state that I live, not where I was born, but where I live and moved to, has become a constitutional carry state. Our carry license is the Second Amendment.
Yes, sir.
You could probably double that.
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, no, I was just saying you could probably double that figure. It's probably closer to 400 than 200. But
as far as the ATF knows, and as far as they need to know.
Yeah, but it's and the gentleman of World War I literally went through horse shit.
Yep.
Because they still employed horses quite a bit during World War I, and that that freaking trench warfare was was something else. But I don't know. It's just that's what I was trying to remember. Have either one of you guys seen Wind Talkers with I believe it was
Mel Gibson,
Diamond Phillips?
Okay, no, I'm thinking of something else. Maybe. Yeah, I think I did, but it's been a long time since I saw that. Oh, with Nick Cage.
Mm-hmm.
Him and he was in it, but I think Lou Diamond Phillips was in it. He played one of the Navajos.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that's a story right there. About how they use their their Navajo language to baffle the Japanese you know, and you know, help us, you know, win in the Pacific Theater, you know, because the Japanese could not, they couldn't decipher it, you know.
Oh,
So yeah, the Marine Corps, was heavy with people, you know, of the Navajo, of the Navajo tribe, Navajo Nation, whatever.
the Code Breakers.
Huh?
Oh, the Code Breakers. So in World War II.
Yeah, code talkers, yeah.
Yeah.
But the name of the movie was called Wind Talkers, I do
Oh,
believe.
gotcha.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I got it pulled up here. I would share the link on this stuff, but I tried on the last one and it was like 700 characters. So there's no sharing that.
yeah. Well, you know, like I said before, if anybody's, you know, interested in any of these movies, they're easily
Accessible.
you know,
Yeah.
found, you know, via the
There's a way to find them
search bar.
somewhere.
Yeah. But yeah, it was it was intense too, because the you know, if they if any of them ever got captured, you know, it was like priority one for them to you know, to, you know, delete themselves. Because, you know, they didn't want, you know, the possibility of one of them getting captured and being you know, forced to
Interrogation. Yes, sir.
yeah, they didn't want them being forced to give up you know, the code and all that. So
And the Japanese had some very creative interrogation techniques. I know a lot of people like to focus on the, you know, the absolute horrible crap that the Nazis did, but you know, over on
Japanese
the Pacific
are fucking
Theater,
savage.
Yep.
You are right,
Yep.
Peach. You are
Yep.
right.
Yeah, they essentially, much like how, you know, the Nazis viewed Jews as being subhuman, the Japanese viewed pretty much all other
Foreigners.
Yes, all foreigners, even other Orientals. Like the Chinese were subhuman to them, Korean subhuman.
Yeah.
Yep. So they would do anything was justified.
Yeah. You guys seen the movie Ip Man?
Yeah. With about the martial arts.
Where he was fighting for rice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep.
Go ahead, Shell.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Watch it. It's
yeah, I've heard of people.
It's actually a very good film. It's I mean, it's presented to you as being like a martial arts film. Like you almost might think it's going to be Wire Fu, looking at like the cover, but it's not. It's actually a historical drama. But it's actually a very good movie. The ones after that go a bit more down the they're more martial arts focused.
Watch the first one. This guy literally taught Bruce Lee how to fight, you know, and Bruce Lee went on to do Bruce Lee shit. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I did think
that's a whole other stream right there, Bruce Lee.
It is. Oh, yeah. You know, Bruce Lee's buried up here, and Shellback and myself, we're up in the Pacific Northwest, so that stuff is like near and dear to us.
Yeah, him and Hendrix.
Yeah, and Brandon Lee, so the Crow. You know, all that stuff happened out here. And then Nirvana and Alice in Chains and Soundgarden. That's where we are.
Oh, dude. And it's totally unrelated. But the Crow, dude, the you know, with Brandon, that's like one of my favorites.
Did you see that? Like, can you tell us about that, just real quick?
What's that?
Oh, The Crow. Like I was 14 and I went and saw it with my dad and it was great. And then we knew he was dead and Stone Temple
Yeah.
Pilots and all that kind of stuff.
I don't know. I just thought it was really cool, because he was basically, you know, it's like, they'd shoot him or whatever, and he'd be like, like the scene where he got shot through the hand, and you see him like looking through
and
the
he's
hole.
laughing. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But, yeah.
Oh, I love it. Go ahead.
No, but yeah, it's just another one that I thought of when the Big Red One was mentioned was some of my favorite war movies. The Dirty Dozen.
Classic.
Clint Eastwood.
That's like a classic.
Dirty Dozen was Steve McQueen.
Oh
no, Lee Marvin.
Marvin? Yeah.
And it had I mean, I can't remember who all it had in it, but it had several known actors in it, and like one of them was it wasn't well, what's his name? Brown, the football player. Crap, I'm drawing a blank right now. But
so there's Lee Marvin, there's Ernest Borgnine, there's Charles Bronson,
Charles
Jim
Bronson,
Brown. Yeah,
Jim Brown, yeah.
We got John Cavesset, we got Richard Jackell, and a bunch of others. So go ahead.
Yeah, but for the people who don't know about the Dirty Dozen, it the premise or whatnot is it's like a special ops type of thing, and the Lee Marvin gets tasked with putting a unit together, and he
this is 1967.
Yeah, and he does it with prisoners. Basically, the whole unit is made up of people that are in the brig, or I don't know, whatever the
court martial.
Yeah,
whatever the army calls it. They were in army jail. There you go.
Yeah,
and so and some of them were even slated to face the firing squad. So
sure.
it was like there was at least one or two of them, and Lee Marvin, his character was like, look, you can either come with me and risk getting killed in action, or you could just sit here and wait for the firing squad.
Yeah. Share the screen.
Huh? Oh, you get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I found something.
Oh, hold on. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
There we go. Ba-ba-da-ba. Ba-da-da-ba-da-da-ba-da-da-ba.
Sorry,
Listen to the show.
Yeah, I haven't done that much.
Oh, you're fine. This
on
is
this
how we do it.
Setup. So
Yeah.
I pushed I went to the wrong thing first, and I'm like, no, wait a minute, it's in the other section. But yeah, this movie is really cool because like I said, that's why the movie is named what it is, because that all of the all the unit was made up out of people who were in jail. So quote unquote dirty. So they're all
Yeah.
they're all
They're all terrible people, just like
Yeah.
the rest of us listening to this right now.
well, not necessarily. That's just that
Yeah.
it's just that they were
Okay, they're worse people than me.
in trouble. But well, because like one I can't remember the dude's name, but he's a big old white boy, and
Is it George Kennedy? I can see him
possibly
right there. Yeah,
um,
he looks
uh,
like a terrible big old white boy.
yeah. No, it wasn't. I don't think it was George Kennedy. It was what's his name?
What's the scene you're thinking of? Just describe it.
He. It might have been who was the one dude that he played James Bond, but only like a time or two. He's kind of like the forgotten James Bond. I'm not sure.
Maybe
if it
the
was
chat
him.
knows.
Talking
Can you
about
tell us,
Lazenby?
chat?
Talking about Lazenby? I mean, he only did the one.
Yeah.
George Lazenby?
Yeah.
He in
Was
this?
he in this? I don't know.
I don't know.
But,
I thought he really only ever did that Bond film.
yeah, if it wasn't him, because like I said, I don't.
Now,
I mean, maybe.
Are you talking Telly Savalas, who played Blofeld?
No. The dude I'm thinking about, had a full head of hair.
Okay.
So I don't know if Memorial Coil could peruse the cast or not
Yeah, we probably can. Hang on.
to see if Lazenby was in it. But if it's not him, it's a dude that looked
Is it
like him.
Sutherland?
No, it wasn't
Donald
Donald
Sutherland's
Sutherland.
pretty tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this guy was, he was big, tall, dark, and handsome, like freaking, James Bond.
Well, let's go to IMDb and figure it out.
Anyway, while we're figuring that out or trying to or whatever,
Yeah.
his character, was in the brig, because he killed a dude. He basically hit somebody so damn hard that they died. Okay, it was accidental. He didn't mean to kill them.
Yeah.
But but yeah, something happened and he hit a guy and the guy died from from getting hit. We're talking like, and if I remember correctly, he just like, it was like a one and done. Like this dude had like a freaking super Mike Tyson punch and, just basically hit this dude so hard, that he freaking died, just like bam. But so he wasn't a quote unquote bad dude, but he ended up in jail from that. So it was otherwise he was a he was kind of a gentle giant type of dude.
Sure.
But it's yeah, it's an awesome movie. But there's Lee Marvin, there's Telly Savalas. But yeah, it's a good movie. It's freaking. It was special ops before there was special ops.
Yeah. Swing underneath boats and shit. I was reading about the frogmen, and that's
Oh.
kind of up your alley. But they would go and lay mines and shit with
Right.
nothing more than snorkels and fins and booty shorts.
Oh crap! What was it?
Yeah,
Was it Men? I want to say Men of Honor. Um, was the title?
thing I was looking at.
It was Cuba Gooding Jr. and Robert De Niro. And it was a movie about Navy divers.
Yeah, that was Men of Honor. I remember seeing that. That was like original dive suits.
Yeah. But
Correct.
yeah, that was a good movie.
2000.
But
I remember renting that from Blockbuster.
yeah. But it's almost 7 o'clock Pacific, and Comics' show, the actual Yelling at Parked Cars is about to come on,
About to happen.
and so we're gonna sign off and let people head over there. But before we go, um, I'm gonna let these two gentlemen promote anything they want to promote. So you being kind of the new guy on the block here, Immortal, we'll let you go first.
Okay. What's happening? My name's Immortal Coil. I have a channel of my own. I guess I focus mostly on Star Wars. I have a different kind of video out called Dreamwalker, and that's about the Spider-Man fucking Doctor Strange thing. I swear a lot. I'm not for kids, so don't let your sweetie listen to me. But yeah, check out Shellback's response things on Twitter. I will see you there. All right, go ahead, Peach.
Yeah, hey everybody. This was another great Monday. Wanted to go ahead and thank. We had some people who were pretty much sticking around the whole time. We had Gap Stargate was around for a lot of this. Stephen Ransom, he kind of had to come in and out, but chat was awesome tonight. Have a good time talking to all of you guys out there. You can find me at Freeze Peach Gaming on YouTube, Odyssey, and Rumble. I haven't been streaming. I really haven't done anything for Odyssey and Rumble. I probably shouldn't shout those out. But on YouTube, my streams are going to be moving to Thursday. So this Thursday, probably around 7:30 after the video on my second channel drops, I'll be doing some streaming. But I'd also like to mention my second channel, LOTR Step by Step. If you are a Lord of the Rings fan, this channel is for you. I am doing a scene-by-scene review of the Lord of the Rings Extended Edition trilogy. This week will be Farewell Dear Bilbo. Last Thursday dropped on a Long Expected Party. Each video is usually about 5 to 6 minutes long, and I go through the trivia behind the making of for the whatever that scene was. How they did the effects for it, how they did the scale differences, just different things that are mentioned by the director, the actors, and the design crews. And I compile all of that together and put it out for a video for you. So please check that out. But everybody, I hope everyone else has think about someone out there who may have served, and think about, if you didn't have any family members that were lost in this day, lost in a war on this day or in combat. Think about them, and if you don't have that, think about family members who were military, may have lost some friends out there. They also had to lose a lot of people that they cared about in combat. But that's all.
Hell.
Everybody.
Yeah. Very cool. So we'll say good night. Have a good time, and take care.
a great one, everybody.
My I don't know, this thing froze up, so I had to freaking pop out and pop back in. But I'd like to again, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in, and thanks to these fine gentlemen for showing up for the panel. And I was trying to tell Immortal in the private chat. I was trying to tell Immortal in private chat to post his channel link.
My.
But it froze up. So I don't. Oh, where'd he go?
Yeah, we lost him. I actually did share Immortal Coil's channel in the chat. So
Oh,
if you
did
scroll
you?
up in the chat, you'll see it. Yep.
All right. Well, where'd he go?
I don't know. Maybe he didn't like us.
Oh, wait, hold on. I think he's back. Hey.
He's back.
Hey, sir.
All right. Well, since both of y'all's channel links have been posted, just if you're in the chat, please check them out, and and we'll and with that,
And with that,
to do an Andre from Midnight's Edge, and with that, we will
to say goodnight.
yeah, we will sign off, and we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.
Love you.
Bye.